Welcome to a deeper conversation. This conversation grew out of the word freedom. You heard a small piece of it in the main episode, but sometimes a single answer can't hold the whole story. As this man shared what freedom meant to him, our conversation became about much more than the word itself. It became a story about shame, healing, and discovering that we are more than the struggles we've carried. This is his story. What does freedom mean to you?
Not to be bound by something, to be happy, have some peace, being grateful.
You always felt that way?
No, it's probably the last 15, 20 years I have felt like that, but I'm 60 years old. Less than half my life, you know?
Back and forth.
Yeah. I wish I could take some of that back, have more freedom, but I'm okay with it.
You talked about freedom from your addiction when we first talked about it. What did that look like?
Freedom from my addiction?
Did you even know that you could be that free?
No. I thought that was just me. It was always going to be me. But it started very early. I mean, sexually abused, as a young child. And my wife told me, she says, when that happened, that agency was taken from you.
How old were you?
6.
It's young.
And then the addiction was like the escape. As I became older, it was more like the drug. It was the pill that I had to take. I couldn't get enough of it. It was, I planned my whole day around it. It was more important than eat, sleep, work, family. And to look back to that now and how much power that had over me, it's scary because it's all that mattered. My values, lying, cheating to get the fix. Yeah. I remember pulling into a gas station. I couldn't stay sober 24 hours. And I remember I was going on like 3 days. And I was in the parking lot getting gas up the Maverick. And I planned out my whole day to get what I needed. I was happy because I was like 3 days sober. Mm-hmm. But I needed the fix. Mm-hmm. Seriously, with pornography, it is like a drug. You shake, you...
Withdrawals.
Yeah. I had a friend who was... he was addicted to alcohol, cocaine. He said pornography was harder than the alcohol and the cocaine to quit. And he still had an issue with pornography. He said he stopped the cocaine and alcohol, but
it's etched in your brain.
Yeah, and it all starts from that childhood. But then you keep it blocked until you talk to somebody. But once you start talking about it and you start thinking back, and like what my brother did to me, my father, but you start opening up about it, it's like your mind, your brain like shuts it off. It blocks that out. I remember the time when I was 6 and what happened, but there was so much in between there that it was just like Michelle would ask me, can you remember like when you were 8? And I'm like,
at all? Like not any part of your life?
It was just kind of a blur. And even now it's sad because when I look back like 20 years, married, children, Michelle goes, hey, do you remember that time with Chelsea? And I'm like, I can't remember it.
Because it was consuming. It
was so consuming. All that mattered was the pornography. Mm-hmm. So when you say freedom and how I feel now you understand the happiness, peace. I'm always an addict. You're never not an addict. But you can be an addict in control, and what helps me is I help others with that problem and realizing that you're not a zero and you have shame and you can talk about it. Because that's what happened through my teenage and my early childhood. It's shame. You don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm. No, you didn't even talk with your friends about it?
No, it's stuff that happened like with my cousin.
Did you talk about porno? Like magazines? Back in the day it was that.
Well, yeah, my dad had a box of them in our basement, And my mom, I remember she'd be canning peas out in the yard on our farm and reading a Playboy.
Your mom?
My mom reading the articles.
So it was no big deal.
It was like no big deal. I didn't really realize that until my sisters and brothers and we started talking about it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that hope chest down the basement in the fruit cellar. Mm-hmm. This is like it was when my dad committed suicide. And it was like we were all just kind of talking. It was like a year later. And we just kind of went out to dinner and we were just talking. And then we just opened up. Everybody started. And I was like, oh my heck.
So everybody had a story.
Yeah, everybody.
Attached to it.
Yes, everyone. And we just found out.
How old were you then?
30 years ago.
Yeah. Just talk about that. Did you even know?
He did, but he was unfaithful to my mother, and so she kicked him out and wanted a divorce, and he was abusive to my mom. My mom worked at the same construction company I worked at, and there'd be times where she had like bruises on her and stuff, and I was like, Mom, what's going on? She's like, I fell, typical response, But my dad was unfaithful, so they got divorced, but then he tried to kill himself by gassing himself, and luckily some deer hunters found him. They rushed him to the hospital. My mom took him back and nursed him back and then kicked him out. As soon as he's better, you're gone. But then he started threatening her. He's like, if I go, you go. And I remember having a discussion with him, with my brothers. We say, you lay a hand on Mom, we'll kill you first. You leave Mom alone. And I was never really close to my mom growing up. I was more close to my dad. And so he broke into her house and hung himself in the garage, and she was coming home from work and she saw his car in the driveway, so she just kept driving. Thank goodness. And I was the first one she called, and it was always the phone call you're waiting for, I was like, how'd he do it? Oh, he hung himself. Are you okay? You all right? Yeah, I just called Morgan County Sheriff. They're on their way. And it was just, that's the conversation though. It was like,
because you blamed him.
Yeah. But my dad was an addict. And at that time I was an addict, and I was pissed and I was mad at him. He left a note on my mom blaming her for everything, left a note on him blaming her so there was like a police investigation, and I was mad, I was pissed. And it was like 10 years ago I forgave him because he was an addict. It's not his fault.
There's a survival to it.
Yeah.
Right?
It is just funny how you can look back and see what he went through and what I went through. His mother died in his arms when he was 10 of a brain hemorrhage. So that had to be traumatic.
Yeah.
And I think if my dad was medicated and he took his medicine, he'd be alive today. But
what turned you full circle?
Getting kicked out.
Yeah.
Michelle was done. My youngest daughter caught me on the computer. That was it. She literally threw a mattress and a pillow out on our porch. And she goes, leave, I'm done. I'm not going to be the helicopter wife anymore. And she looked at me, she goes, I'm not your savior. You find him. And I was like, you find him. I already know who he is. I put myself in the back of my truck, went and slept in our storage shed for about 3 weeks. Would go to the Maverick and brush my teeth. And go to work. And yeah, we were separated for 2 years.
That was the reunion.
So it wasn't just allowing me to come back. It was
being accepted from your daughter.
Michelle made a list privately, and she never told me the things that I was supposed to do. She says, you did every one of those. And she says, we didn't discuss it. This was between...
You didn't know. She didn't.
Yeah, this was between Michelle and God. This is what Nils needs to do. And she wrote, I think there's 4 or 5 that she wrote down. And then when I would come in and report, I was seeing a therapist, and I was going to a group, addiction recovery group. I was going to actually 2 of them.
Your journal.
Yeah, write my journal, number 1. And I think the first one was Nils is going to be the director of Men Moroni, addiction recovery program. And it was probably about 8 or 9 months, and I was sober. And the guy who was running his program, Sons of Helaman, and that, he asked me to be a director. I actually run a men's group. And so I just told Michelle, and she didn't react. She just like, good. Then after I left,
check.
Yeah, but it was neat because she wanted me to report. And
did you know what you were reporting? You were just
that's the thing. I didn't know. Isn't that amazing? And I would just come and she goes, you did everyone.
And she didn't
when I was
tell.
Yeah, and until I came back, she told me, she says, you did H1. And she, had a date next to it when I reported to her.
Mm-hmm. So how was it with your girls? What was their checklist?
The one thing that McKenna said to me, that's my youngest, the one that caught me. We were sitting at the bar, and I think I was home. And this is another thing that was different, okay? I was living alone, so I had this me time where I could just study and read and ponder and just alone time.
Did you enjoy that?
Yes. And that was scaring me, coming back to a house with commotion. They told me when I could come back. I didn't say, can I come back? They told me.
Okay.
But I said, I need this. So if I'm in my office and the door's shut, I'm studying or reading. just let me do it. I can't change. You get in this, it's like the addiction. It's like addiction.
You're
It's,
addicted to peace.
yes, that's my new addiction. And I said that. It's like I'm addicted to the reading and writing. And I says, you got to give me, still a young family. And so they did that. But I sat in the bar with McKenna, and this was a couple weeks after I was back in the house. And we were just sitting on the bar eating dinner. And she was like looking at me. And she says, you have green eyes. And I go, yeah. She goes, I never noticed that. You were always dark. I thought you had brown eyes. And Michelle was showing me pictures of Brenda, it doesn't even look like me. It is like a totally, like, possessed. It is not me. Michelle was showing me pictures like, 15, 20 years ago with the kids. One picture was like when I baptized McKenna. And then there's pictures of me now with her, and I've always remembered that. It's like, that's what I remember. But she just, McKenna, and that's a little girl too. This is like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. Because when she caught me with the pornography, I think she's 13. So this is 15, 16-year-old. And
She always knew you that way.
yeah. That's the only dad she knew. Mm-hmm. And she goes, I can't remember if she said green or blue, but she said, you have blue eyes. I was dark, had rings under my eyes. I remember pictures of that. Picture of Michelle sent me before. And I look at it and I don't remember that. I don't remember that picture or
at all.
Well, I remember the baptism. I remember that, but
You didn't see
where I'm at now. I look at that and I'm like, who the hell is that? I don't even know who that person is.
You don't look.
No. Family photos. I'm like, just smile, but I am like, I'm dark though. When you start talking about freedom, and I tell gentlemen who I help with this addiction, I says, what keeps you from coming back? Why would I want to come back to that? I am a prisoner. I'm bound. I'm just chained. And why would I even want that? There's life after it.
What I appreciated most about this story was how freedom wasn't just the absence of addiction. It was the return of something that had been buried for a long time. His daughter noticed it before he did. She simply looked at him and said, Dad, you have green eyes. Maybe that's what freedom looks like sometimes. Not becoming someone new, but becoming someone who was there all along. Thank you for your story, and thank you for listening. Until next time, keep listening, keep wondering, and keep exploring the words that shape your world and why.